Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all an update to my Cardfight Vanguard Artisaria deck profile for post-Knights of the Rebirth with the 8th booster set for the Cardfight Vanguard Divine series. We got some more support for the Lyrical Monasterio lock deck or the Polyphonic Overdrive Artisaria deck. This deck focuses on being able to use your orders to either call out Shadow Army tokens or lock your opponent's rearguard. So some pretty awesome setup with some powered up Shadow Army tokens, and then just inhibiting your opponent from being able to use one of their rearguards with a unit that they have set up on it. So very happy with the newer support, just to give us more depth into this deck and not to focus so much on generic lyrical support. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profiles. We'll go ahead and start off with the ride deck. We have the Energy Generator with our starter being Head Up Octaver Proto. When rode upon by a unit, if you went second and draw a card, our grade 1 is Dynamic Exciter Istiera. When it's placed by riding from Head Up Octaver Proto, reveal a grade 3 card with Artisaria and its card name from your ride deck. Search your deck for up to one sound system card, reveal it, and put it in your hand and shuffle the deck. So the sound system cards are the orders that can either get us our option to lock a rearguard or to call out a Shadow Army token. So just being able to search out these cards gives us more or less the added material needed for our resources for our Vanguard. And our grade 2 is Witching Vibrato Lifel. When placed by riding from Dynamic Exciter Hysteria, reveal grade 3 Artisaria from the ride deck. Search your deck for up to one sound system card, reveal it, put it in the hand, and shuffle the deck. So more and more search power with just both of the units we run in the ride deck, with our grade 3 being Polyphonic Overdrive Artisaria. Along with the copy in the ride deck, we are running the additional copies in the main deck as well. So we'll go over the grade 3s. We'll get to the actual orders for the deck that we use later on, but we run 3 additional copies of Artisaria in the deck as well, along with the copy in the ride deck. On the Vanguard, during your turn, if your order zone has 2 or more sound systems, it gets critical +1. So just being able to set up those orders can give us extra pressure with our Vanguard. And on the Vanguard, circle once per turn, you can Energy Blast 2, choose a sound system card from your hand or drop, put it into the order zone. If you put a card from your hand, you draw a card, so it makes up for the card you may have used from your hand for that resource. And also on Vanguard, once per turn, when this unit attacks, you can counter +1, call up to 1 Shadow Army token as your rear guard for each sound system card in your order zone. All your front row units get +5 until the end of turn for every 2 sound system cards in your order zone. So the more you have set up, the more powerful your units will be, and the more Shadow Army tokens that you are able to call out onto the rear guard circles. For those of you that don't know, the Shadow Army tokens are the 15k tokens that are just represented by tokens that cannot be put into the deck, but just being able to have these 15k power tokens to be able to swing or boost with your other units definitely does come in handy for that added setup. So 3 of these cards, also just to be able to consistently use Persona Ride. For the grade 2s, 4 copies of Devilish Flanger Lufer. When placed on rearguard or put on the guard circle, if your order zone as a sound system unit, gets +5 attack and +5 shield until end of turn. And when it's returned to the hand from rearguard during your turn, or retired from rearguard during your turn, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Artisaria and its card name, counter +1 and draw a card. So the main way it'll be retired from rearguard is if you attack with this unit, and then use Artisaria to call over a Shadow Army token over Lufer. This will retire it and then allow you to use the CB1 to draw a card, by in turn giving you more rearguards to then be able to attack with as well. Our new grade 2 from the latest set for us that we are running is the Angelic Echo Luminuel. Now I'm running 3 copies currently. I've been testing out numbers for this card. If I were to run a 4th copy, I'd more than likely drop down the next grade 2 that I run in the lineup. When it's placed on the rear guard circle with this card, choose up to 1 grade 3 card with Artisaria and its card name from your hand. Reveal it. If you revealed a card or you have a grade 3 Vanguard with Artisaria and its card name, Energy Blast 2, call a Shadow Army token to rear, and that unit cannot attack until end of turn. So the main play obviously is to give you a Shadow Army token, and it may not be able to attack, but it can still provide a boost to another unit on the field. So that's the big thing to remember with this card. And when this unit's put on the guard circle, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Artisaria and its card name, retire 1 or more up to 2 Shadow Army tokens, and this unit gets +10 shield until end of turn for each unit retired, making it a total 25k guard potentially, giving us more of an option for our Shadow Army tokens to use also as a defensive capability in the deck. The last of the grade 2s include the 4 copies of Seven Hues Bridge Luciel. This card gives us the option for a unit card for this card when it's placed on rearguard from hand, other from the unit's ability, or discard it from the hand while riding from the ride deck. Choose a card with Persona Ride from your ride deck, reveal it, or if you have a Vanguard with Persona Ride, Soul Blast 1, and then put a Persona Shield ticket into your hand. So just giving you an added guard option with this card. And the bounce power we have in our deck as well to be able to reuse this card just gives us a continuation of the Persona Shield to be able to use. And when it attacks a grade 3 or greater unit, it gets +5 until the end of that battle. So just added power and defense in the form of another grade 2. For the grade 1s, 3 copies of Trailing Notes Reverbera. When during your turn, if your Aura Zone has a sound system, it gets +5 on rearguard, and on rearguard at the end of the battle it boosted. If your Aura Zone has a sound system, put it into the soul, choose one of your rearguards and return to hand. So the bounce power, as mentioned before, while providing Soul Blast power for our other units as well, whether it be for our Luciel or for our Cooling Heart Eureka, which we're also running 3 copies of. When your other unit in the same column as this one is placed, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, it gets +5. And at the end of the battle it boosted, you can Soul Blast 1 to choose another rearguard and return to hand. So then more bounce power for some of the other rearguards that I mentioned that we run in the deck also. And then 2 copies of Clear Shimmer Aura, just for more order power. When attack hits that this unit boosted, retire this unit, search your deck for up to an order, reveal it, put it in the hand, and shuffle the deck. So then we can search out our other Overdrive orders to then be able to add additional copies from our deck to our hand, with the last of the grade 1s being 4 copies of Best Turf's Hot Warmia, just the Sentinel of choice. If you wanted to run Elementary Sanctitude, you can always replace 1 copy of this grade 1 for that card. For our orders, running 4 copies of Mega Romania. This is the option. It cannot be placed and cannot be put into the Aura Zone other than by the ability of a unit with Artisaria and its card name. So being able to use this option for your Artisaria ability to then, when this card's put into the Aura Zone, if your opponent's Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, choose up to 1 of your opponent's rearguards and lock it. This is the lock power. Just getting rid of one of your opponent's columns takes away a good number of attacks they could have potentially done. So you want to max out the ability to be able to lock your opponent continuously, turn after turn, with the other order being our 3 copies of Shout and Shadow, with this one being able to, when it's put in the Aura Zone, draw a card and call up to 1 Shadow Army token. So having the option for the Shadow Army token as well for the added pressure, and for the fact that our opponent's Vanguard has to be a grade 3 for Mega Romania. So if we go first, we go with the Shout and Shadow first, and then Mega Romania second. Otherwise, reverse it if our opponent was grade 3 first. And then our Regalis piece in the deck is Radiance Caliburn, being able to perform one of the following 2. You can draw 2 cards, or put this card into the soul and countercharge 1, giving you more soul power and countercharge power in the form of a Regalis piece. For our trigger lineup, we're going with the 7 critical, so 4 copies of Precious Tune Edwidge and 3 copies of Fluffy Lady Godu Liev. Added pressure on top of our Vanguard's own critical trigger that it can get. And then the 4 draws being Baratois for the 5k shield power, and our heal being the generic Anika, with our over trigger being our greatest star, Esperanza, just for the lyrical to use. If you want to try Eidos Faro or Valnute, it's going to be another spot to replace in the deck for the over trigger lineup also. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. And once again, as always, I'll be updating more and more decks from Knights of the Rebirth, so look forward to it. And until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Qualia out.